Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Too many animals, not enough space. A wild week has this local animal control asking the public for help. Tim.
Detroit's blight elimination program, the demolition of thousands of homes as well, left some neighborhoods looking rather sparse. But new life is springing up on some of these vacant lots. We'll take Drone 4 up and take a look at urban farming in Detroit's neighborhoods.
The person behind the wheel of this car escaped arrest, but made themselves a big priority for police. Topping our news at 6, the search for a man and a woman involved in a destructive run-in this week with officers.
Yeah, happened in the early morning hours on Tuesday along Woodward Avenue. This is the new video sent to us by Highland Park Police showing two of their cruisers boxing in a reckless driving suspect, but he found a way out. Jermont Terry live where all of this took place. Jermont.
Yo, Devin, now Highland Park Police, they spotted that car driving reckless here down Woodward Avenue. You can see tonight, look at it, you can see the tire tracks where this car made its way around these officers. Now, as you mentioned, it was in the early morning hours, actually 1 a.m., and the officers, they thought that they could get this car. The driver, he did not want to stop, but let me show you where he pulled into. He pulled right into this parking lot here, and it's a one-way in, one-way out. The officers boxed the car in, and they figured, okay, the man would stop. And what you're about to see next clearly showed that this driver had other plans.
When you see this silver Charger pull into the Woodward Inn, you wouldn't realize the driver ran from Highland Park Police. But it doesn't take long for you to see two officers in cruisers pull up with their lights and sirens on. The officers blocked the exit to the motel, hoping to prevent the driver from going any further. But this driver, who police say already ran from cops, did not care officers boxed him in. Look as he reverses and slams right into the police cruiser. And if you look even closer, the officer, who was already out of his vehicle with this weapon drawn, jumps out of the way to prevent getting hit by that vehicle. The driver takes off towards 7 Mile on Woodward, and Highland Park Police have not seen the car nor the two people inside since the early morning close call. Outside the motel, tire tracks are visible, and so are security cameras. They were able to get these images of the driver and his passenger. They were also able to get a better view of the car and a partial license plate. It's unclear why the duo did not pull over for the traffic stop, but after this, and nearly injuring officers, it's safe to say when they are caught, they will face some serious charges.
Now, you saw in that video that officers, they had their guns drawn, but they did not fire any shots at that vehicle that took off towards 7 Mile here along Woodward. Of course, if you recognize that man and woman, you know what to do. Call Crime Stoppers, because according to Highland Park Police, they need to find this pair. Reporting live along Woodward Avenue, I'm Jermont Terry, Local 4.
Let's hope that video helps shake loose a thought or a clue as to what happened. All right, Jermont. Kim.
The animal control in St. Clair County has run out of room after a week that saw an unusually high number of animals seized and brought in. There's simply too many horses, birds, and dogs for them to keep. As Sean Lay explains tonight, they're asking for your help.
From horses that are in bad shape to 17 birds that were in one house to all kinds of dogs seized in one criminal case. This has been a wild week for St. Clair County Animal Control.
What kind of week have you had?
Crazy. It has been a crazy week. It's been a good week for the animals.
No room at the inn. St. Clair County Animal Control is bursting at the seams tonight. 3 horses in the county were found this week starving and in bad shape. It's a criminal investigation, and there's no room for horses here. A rescue is now caring for them.
They've seen a veterinarian already. Their vet has come out and taken a look, and they are working right now on refeeding them, essentially introducing calories back slowly.
Then there are the birds, 17 of them like this one, all removed from a filthy home. An elderly owner just couldn't care for them any longer.
All I have to say is check on your elderly family members. They're animal lovers, but sometimes they get in over their head.
Next up, 21 dogs removed from 2 homes this week. 17 of them are part of another criminal probe. Rescues are stepping up to help, but this is a small animal control and it's a full house.
We're willing to work with them at this point. We're desperate. We need some adoptions. We need some open kennels. So big dogs especially, they're the hardest for us to get out So if any rescue is willing to step forward, we're willing to work with anybody with 501c3 status and paperwork, or anyone in the public who's interested in adopting.
Back here live. We're live tonight. And again, St. Clair County Animal Control saying any 501c3 rescue that can help them with some of these animals seized during their criminal cases, please do. Call on them. They need your help. They also need people to adopt. One more thing, next Saturday at St. Clair County Animal Control, they're going to hold a garage sale and an adoption loving homes. We're live tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4.
Yep, hope it all works out. Okay, thanks, Sean. Well, also in St. Clair County, a local state of emergency declared due to widespread flooding throughout the southeastern part of the county. The area has also seen a lot of damage because of the floodwaters, and there's potential for further flooding because of the increased water.
It is a beautiful Friday afternoon to kick off the weekend.
You really couldn't have picked a better day. So let's check in with Ben, who seems to always have the best assignments on days like this. Hi, Ben.
Yes, otherwise I would have just stayed in the building if it was not nice out here today, but it is perfect. The sun is out, everybody's enjoying the weekend, everybody's enjoying summer, which of course started at 11:54 this morning, and we got a whole lot more of that this weekend. Let's look at some of those temperatures outside, which are in the 70s and are going to be staying right around that mark for the next couple hours. Then we're going to fall into the 60s as that sun goes down. Just enough of a north breeze, no humidity, and it's just going to be a gorgeous night tonight. Going into the weekend, got zero problems on Saturday and Sunday. We'll look at the temperatures for both weekend days. And of course, we'll talk about Monday, which is a whole nother story entirely. And coming up later for the when we do talk to you for your forecast, we're going to be eating. You knew we couldn't get out of here without eating some food, right? So we'll be sampling some of the cuisine, and it's just not your standard fare stuff. We'll have more on that coming up, guys.
We'd be shocked if it didn't include some food somewhere along the way. All right, Ben, we'll be back to you shortly. Now to a major drug bust downriver, which ends with police collecting large amounts of drugs, cash, and guns. The Downriver Area Narcotics Organization executed warrants in Southfield, Detroit, and Taylor. And during their search, they say they found more than 3 pounds of cocaine, almost a pound of heroin and fentanyl. They also found 2 rifles, 3 guns, along with more than $70,000 in cash. Police have arrested 3 men right now for their alleged involvement.
The Larry Nassar crisis at Michigan State University doesn't seem to be over just yet. MSU's Board of Trustees has just authorized a new independent investigation into how the school handled the abuse complaints against Nassar. Trustees have worked with many Nassar survivors to launch the investigation in an effort to restore trust at MSU. Attorney General Dana Nessel says Michigan State lacks the credibility to conduct a legitimate investigation, and they should leave it to professional investigators.
It is sad when a home someone once built is being torn after being abandoned. But that process also creates opportunity in the open space where those homes once stood.
Tim Pamplin shows us how farmers are turning it into something good for the community.
Detroit's neighborhoods are rapidly turning into a patchwork of vacant lots. But the patchwork is being filled in.
Collard greens, tomatoes, eggplants, you name it. If you can find it in a grocery store, and it doesn't require a tropical environment, we're probably growing it here.
This urban farm has taken over 4 city blocks near 75 and West Grand Boulevard, each year producing more than 20,000 pounds of fresh produce.
Between 300 different varieties of crops, all of which is made available for free for anybody who wants it.
It's turning this new center neighborhood into a destination, not just for locals. But get this, a TV crew from South Korea documenting Detroit's renaissance.
When we started our work here in 2008, it was like a war zone.
A few miles up 75 near the Davison is the Oakland Urban Farm.
Yeah, get in here and pull these weeds.
Jerry sees her farm as much more than just fresh fruits and vegetables.
They was allowed to come eat from the land and have to pay for nothing, and a lot of people ate good off of this. You know, then they was able to provide jobs. And I'm one of the people in the community that they provide the job for.
Oakland Urban Farm has just added their brand new chicken coop.
This is our second batch of hens, and they lay eggs that we sell here on the farm.
So from eggs to pears to juicy Michigan cherries, there's about a dozen urban farms spread out across Detroit, bringing communities together. That's the scene in the News Center area. Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
There is a green thumb that somebody really knows what they're doing with that one.
I mean, look how big that is, too.
It's massive and gorgeous. All right, let's look ahead now at what's coming up on NBC Nightly News at 6:30.
Lester Holt joins us live from New York with a preview. Lester, good evening.
Hi, Kim and Devin. Coming up, family pleading for help after a young American studying to be a doctor is kidnapped. Plus, he is the subject of a new HBO documentary. We'll have my conversation with Brian Stevenson about his fight for racial justice.
Yeah, I've had an opportunity to speak with him before. In your conversation, Lester, what does he say about the status of criminal justice reform in America?
Well, he says that we're still so tied to slavery and lynching, that history, that it's made it difficult for our criminal justice system. But he thinks that the reawakening we're seeing is helpful. He thinks, though, America still has to confront the shame of some of its past to truly change. We'll hear more from him in a few minutes.
Really timely. Yeah, coming up here about 20 minutes from now. Thanks, Lester. We'll see you then. We're a weekend away from the summer's biggest party. Priya?
Can you guess what you're looking at? This is what it takes to light up the sky for the Ford fireworks. We'll give you a sneak peek at preparations.
They're health fads that could actually be harmful to your health. I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. Coming up, see which big trends have some doctors sounding the alarm.